What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and today we are here for a Madden 23 rebuild where we are going to take over the New York Giants. We're at the sim this week. I'm going to relive this one last time. But we're going to take over the New York Giants, and we're going to try and bring them a Super Bowl. Brian Daboll, one Canadian, and this Canadian, we're going to work together, and I'm going to make this team into Super Bowl contenders. I think after the, I'm not going to call it a breakout year, but the fact that Daniel Jones essentially bought himself another season, maybe. Let's rock and roll. If we can roll a dev trait on Daniel Jones next year, like our first year of this rebuild, we might got something there. And I think, as much as I like to clown on it, obviously this is coming from an NFC East fan. He's not bad. I mean, never was bad. Like, I never hated the pick. When Daniel Jones got drafted, when he did, everyone was clowning on it. And I believe, my exact sentiment was it's not a strong quarterback class. He might have it. He has as much as a chance of anybody from that weak quarterback class of making it. And I still kind of hold the same thoughts to this day. I think you can look at him. He definitely played better under Brian Daboll. I think the fact that Josh Allen in Buffalo played worse with no Brian Daboll makes you feel like you got the right guy under center. And again, I'm not just siding with my Canadian brethren there. But I think when you look at Daniel Jones, they just got fuck all at wide receiver. Sterling Shepard is a solid slot wide receiver. Darius Slayton is a boom or bust, hot and cold, inconsistent deep threat. I think Wan'Dale Robinson's interesting. I personally, Kenny Galladay, I was a big fan of him with the Detroit Lions. I don't know what's going on there. Hodgins was a Buffalo guy as well, but there is nothing there. They got nothing at tight end. And arguably, they got a low-end wide receiver too, a role player wide receiver. They don't have any weapons for Daniel Jones outside of Saquon Barkley and, an above-average offensive line. And, Thomas is definitely balled out, which, I mean, again, not to just go back through my greatest hits of these players that they've drafted, but I thought Andrew Thomas was elite coming out of Georgia. I don't know necessarily, it wasn't the hottest season, but I really liked Evan Neal as a tackle prospect. He was my favorite tackle from last year's draft class. So I think they got an offensive line here. You got an outstanding running back. You got a quarterback that has something, potentially. You have a quarterback that might be able to help that quarterback find that something. But you need to get some skill position players. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Defensively, you got Dex Lawrence, who's a budding star in this NFL, especially in that front three. Ojulari looks like a solid player. Kayvon Thibodeau, trying super hard to play the bad guy, which I'm not a huge fan of. But, he's a hell of a player. I think he's a very exciting pass rusher. And I would have had him, again, it's him and Aiden Hutchinson were my top two guys that could go first overall. And, then, of course, it was Trevon Walker. McKinney, you got Love, you got Adoree Jackson, Moreau, Darnay Holmes, who I've been a big fan of since he came out of USC. There are pieces here, man. This is a team that definitely still needs a lot of work. But it's not like an expensive team. We're going to have money in free agency to go out and improve this squad. We're going to have some drafts that are going to have some cheesy-ass Madden players they're going to find to improve this squad. But first thing is first, we are going to have to get into year one of this rebuild, which means we have to relive this divisional game where the 14-3 Eagles beat the Giants pretty badly. Man, I had a bunch of people say, C4, what's the read on this Eagles-Giants game? The only thing I did was I screenshotted the Week 14 game where Philly beat the Giants 48-22. I said, there is not a chance in hell that the Giants beat the Eagles. There's not a chance in hell that game was even remotely close. It was not. I'm sorry. There's Eagles kick the shit out of the Giants. The Eagles are going, if you know ball, the Eagles are going to kick the shit out of the 49ers. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. I think the other side of the bracket, if it's the Bengals in the Super Bowl, if it's the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, that's going to be a tough assignment. But if the Philadelphia Eagles don't make the Super Bowl, that is a complete and utter failure. We are, in every sense of the word, a better team than the San Francisco 49ers. Okay? I'm not saying the Niners are bad. I'm not saying the Niners don't have any chance. They have an outstanding defense. I love DeMeco Ryans. Can't wait to see him get a head coaching job. He's probably going to be one of my favorite head coaches in the NFL. They have freak players on offense: George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Trent Williams. On the defensive side, Nick Bosa's Defensive Player of the Year. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, linebacker, are outstanding. Their secondary, pretty mid, to be honest with you. But there is not one thing that the 49ers do consistently enough to say that they have any advantage whatsoever in this matchup overall against the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a, I would say the only advantage overall I think you give the Niners is the run defense. The run defense is, and it's not even that good. But like you look at the Niners, you're like, well, their defense is sick. They're the number 1 defense in the NFL. Fucking Philly is like the number 2 defense in the NFL, and we broke sack records. So like, I'm not saying right now that the Eagles defense is undisputably, it's not even close if you're comparing the Eagles defense to the 49ers defense. But what I'm saying is, like, people when they're trying to say, like, well, the Niners are going to win because of this, like, they just are completely oblivious to the level that the Philadelphia Eagles played this year. And I'm just saying right now, I'm not, there's going to be a great video, obviously, if Philly ends up losing that matchup, as we spend an upgrade here for Adoree Jackson. So we're going on a little mid-rant. But if all things are equal, if the 49ers play their game and the Philadelphia Eagles play their game, neither team beats himself. When the dust settles, both these teams playing their best game. Who wins? The Philadelphia Eagles win 10 times out of 10. And if you disagree, I'm sorry, you don't know ball. You just don't. It's the thing. And you know what? You know what's good? You know what's going to be the nice little fuck yeah? Is after we got shit kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles in this world, Julian Love is now a star dev. So we have that going into the first official year of this Giants rebuild. And we're going to try to make the Giants as good of a team so that fans of this Giants squad, by the end of this 5 years, feel like I currently do as a Philadelphia Eagle fan, where barring a complete and utter botch job by our team, we are not going to a Super Bowl. That is going to be the case here with the New York Giants. We have 5 years to do so. We have a very, very important free agency period coming up in just a couple seconds because we got Saquon Barkley, who we got to get long-term extension for. So let's get into the offseason and roll into year 1 with a team that's a lot better than a 77 overall. We saw Julian Love go up a dev trade. As it relates to the rest of the squad, I didn't think there was a chance that Daniel Jones would go up dev, but it would have been nice if that potentially could have happened. But as it relates to the squad, we had Evan Neal's dev trade got unveiled. It was hidden dev. It is a superstar, so that is an awesome starting point for him and his development going forward in this rebuild. On the defensive side of the ball, there was, don't think any dev trades up or down for any of our squad members. So, happy for Julian Love. Happy to get that nice little free bonus going into our offseason. So here's our free agency spot. Got to try to figure this out. First up, we got Jamie Gillian. I think he's fine. Come back, he will. If you get bent over by a punter, that's probably not going to be the best start to your free agency negotiations. Now we have Daniel Jones. I really don't want to offer him. Like, honestly, here's what I'm thinking. I'll offer him 2 years, 11. He wants to play for a new team. I just want to tag him. Let's tag him for 1 year. That's a disgusting amount of money, right? But we're not spending that. We weren't going to be able to go into free agency and spend all of that money, all $111 million. So I'm fine giving Daniel Jones 1 year to try and roll a dev trait. Because if he can't, then it's fine. Darius Slayton has the highest ceiling out of any of the wide receivers that are set to be free agents. So we'll offer him 3-year deal, see if we can get him to stick around, which we do, which should be his prime. I think we could probably move on for Sterling Shepard. Julian Love, especially just considering he went up a dev trait. 29, keep him until he's 29. I got no issues about that. So let's offer him 4 years, just under 33. And wow, gets the dev trait late season. We offer above and beyond what he should be getting. Okay, I'm not going to rule out trying to bring him back on the open market, but Saquon's a big one. Definitely don't want Saquon leaving. So we're out from 5 years, $50 million on the dot. He is signing back on the dot line. X Factor, the most explosive player on this offense. So really annoyed, honestly, that Julian Love kind of flipped us the bird here a little bit. Maybe there's some value in Isaiah Hodgins, but I think that, from what I could see peeking at the draft class, looks pretty good for wide receiver. So we're going to just roll into free agency with $42 million Daniel Jones as our quarterback. Over our first free agency, it's actually not too often I max out my free. I got to dip back. We are at 5 of 5 for our first stage. I got Zach Allen as like a kind of a band-aid on that front 3. Isaiah Wynn, who we are going to kick inside to guard, which I think he probably should try anyways. We got Devin Bush at middle linebacker, Irv Smith at tight end, and Ethan Postage as kind of a band-aid at center. More so, we're just kind of going there for the dev trait. But I want to try to get back into the linebacker pool and see if we can get 2 brand new starting middle linebackers. So let's go through this, see if we can get any signed. And yeah, all right, that's a hell of a start. And I think we can go right back into middle linebacker where there still was a couple guys. TJ Edwards is there. I think Cody Barton might be the most affordable at this point in time. Okeraki's looking for 6.5. TJ Edwards looking for 8. Well over 8.5. Where someone like Cody Barton looking for 4. I feel like the ceiling is there. Just, you know, don't lose that dev trait. Getting at least 29. So we'll up the bid here just a little bit. We'll offer him 3 and 2. 3 years, $15 million. Come in, get a whole lot of tackles for the New York Giants. Come on, that got to sound good, right? That got to sound good, right? Get him locked and loaded. Hell of a free agent. No superstars, but adding a lot of depth to the squad, which is exactly how I think they should do. Especially knowing that going into next year, if Daniel Jones sucks, we're going to have, you know, that's $40 million of additional cap next offseason. I feel like it'd only be right to do a Giants rebuild. We got to get Bengal on the roster at tight end. I was willing to be aggressive to trade up, and the Bucs super reached for the corner that I wanted, JD Vick. The corner's really where the value is, I think, here in the first round. There was one wide receiver that I'm considering in Hugh Long, but I mean, wide receivers are such a crapshoot. Like, honestly, when you look at wide receivers, you just got to go, for the most part, with the best combine. Unless you have them 100% scouted, because it's just like, what can you really decipher from A-catching? That's awesome. He's 6'2" and fast, but the route running, we don't really know a whole lot about, you know, everything else about his game. Which is just such a like, I have as much confidence as burning a first-round pick on Hugh Long, as I got a couple guys down here late that are absolute speedsters. We have Carlos Humphrey. That's late day 3. We got B route running, and he has 4.2 speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have as much confidence drafting him as I would a wide receiver in the first round. There's also another wide receiver. There's Thomas that was really fast as well. This guy looks ridiculous. Rashad Ivory, slot wide receiver out of A&M, with the first in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle, which if you see that, you know, that's probably an outstanding player, UDFA. But so, like, to come in and get in the discussion of a first-round wide receiver, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at this Madden drafting thing, and I still, to this day, feel like wide receivers is an absolute crapshoot. So as it relates to corners, there's some really good corners here. We have Terrell Patterson out of South Florida, B catching, B zone coverage, but he has the D there. Carlos Drake, B man, A press, C zone. To go with the fact that, you know, he got some good length on the outside, 6 feet tall. Combine, not as good though as the guy that I'm kind of leaning here, which is Carl Hilton out of Kentucky. B press, B zone, C man, D. I'm not so worried about the D catching. 6'3", 4'3". You know, are we falling in love with the with the height, weight, speed here a little bit? Maybe. But actually, you know what? We'll go against it. Sometimes it's not good. It's good to buck a trend. And Carlos Drake is a pretty good athlete, and those stats are very good. He's 4.39. I don't want to be overly critical. Let's go. Carlos Drake in the first. Next best athlete, because our scouting sucks, because I took this fucking thing over, you know, in the playoffs, is Parker York at D-tackle. He's going to be a defensive end in our scheme. 6'4", 304 pounds. A little disappointed with the key ratings there. B tackle, D power move, C block shed. Usually that's an avoid, but when you get a player that is elite acceleration, elite jumping, so I mean explosiveness, if you will. But look at that. He's top 5 in every athletic attribute. It's not rocket science. This is most likely a very good player, and that's exactly what Parker York is, and gives us a little bit of sustainability for the future at that defensive end spot. Zach Allen signed in free agency, short-term deal. Leonard Williams getting up there in age a little bit. You know, Parker York might have to see the field sooner than later. Even though we signed Bengal at tight end, I think we could use another one. We have Anthony Gutierrez. It's not the best tight end class, and like I would love to have a little bit more scouting on Richardson and Tiller, just because, you know, you always like the starting spot. It looks like a lot of B's. But for me, in terms of like just tells, we have Chandler Myers here in the day 3 out of Nebraska, has A run blocking. Usually A run blocking and elite strength are the 2 traits I like to look for in late tight ends that, you know, tends to kind of hit. And that's exactly what Chandler Myers is. But in the case of Anthony Gutierrez out of Mizzou, he has the A catch in traffic, which leads me to believe he's a little bit better of a receiving tight end. He also possesses the elite strength, and he's the fastest tight end with the best combine. Again, not an overly difficult pick to make. Wish there was a dev trait there, but he should be a good player. I think both those tight ends are going to be solid. Grab a wide receiver. Look at this guy. How do I have this guy 100%? F's everything. Have you seen a worse player? F catching traffic. Catching. I almost need to draft him. I might have to draft that guy if he's still there in the 7th round just to see how does that happen. But I want to grab our speedster here. Carlos Humphrey, West Georgia. So he's following, what's that, Tyreek Hill school. Hopefully, as you know, 424 is Tyreek Hill speed. Welcome to the Giants, sir. 98 acceleration, 97 speed. Again, not going to gloat. If you guys were playing franchise mode, you probably draft this guy too. I really do want to continue to fill out our wide receiver room because that's the room as it relates to the offense outside of quarterback that I'm the most unsure about. And we have another burner here in Calvin Thomas, elite speed, elite acceleration. But do we go deep threat? When in doubt, do you go deep threat, which we already have, or do you go for the technician on the inside, which is Rashad Ivory, who's a slot? He catching traffic, sure, whatever. But the first and 3 cone, first in at 20-yard shuttle. A little worried about the speed, but more so as it relates to our wide receiver room. We need someone that, and we're late in the draft. We're not going to be, but in terms of roles, we don't have a slot guy. We let Sterling Shepard walk, Richie James walk. So I feel like go with the slot. Hell, we could probably finish out this draft. We'll come back and get Thomas. And just for shits and giggles sake, I want to draft that wide receiver. That was like F's everything. But Rashad Ivory pops with the hidden dev. Again, not crazy. I think we can come back and get Thomas through the speedster. We might be able to get 3 hidden dev wide receivers at the back end of this draft. Let's go, Calvin Thomas. You are next. Give me that 4.25 speed at your pro day. Give me that hidden dev trait. And just for shits and giggles, I want to draft the worst player I have ever seen in a draft class. Like, I'm pretty sure these start the day draft classes, like, you're going to see this guy if you use your starting point as the wild card round in the playoffs. Here's the legend known as Wyatt Callan. F's in everything. I mean, the 4.5's not bad. I mean, that's not F combine by any means. There's no way. I was almost kind of hoping give that guy a dev trait. F's everything. But, you know, let's draft him. You know, maybe he's a high character locker room guy. Take a look at our draft recap. I'm happy that we got the wide receivers that we did. Very disappointed that our first round corner, even though he's 75, was a normal dev. He's a little bit older as well at 23 out of Ohio State. Carlos Drake, but he likely still is going to see the field a lot as a rookie. Maybe he can play himself in a defensive rookie of the year, which would be a dev trait scenario. Second round, we got Parker York, very athletic D-tackle. Was not hard to identify. He was going to be a solid player, and he pops 73 with the hidden dev. We're going to kick him outside the defensive end. Maybe that will fluctuate his rating just a little bit. Gutierrez in the 3rd round, 70 normal, not bad. Maybe the other tight end that we're kind of flip-flopping on might have been, you know, if he had a dev trait, similar rating, could have went that department, but he's solid depth at this point. Carlos Humphrey, our hidden dev, first hidden dev wide receiver, 71. 77 hidden dev. This guy was UDFA. Really, all 3 of these guys were pretty much fucking UDFA. Late day 3. 96 acceleration, 90 short route running, 97 agility, 93 change of direction. Wandale Robinson got, you know, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Humphrey, 97 speed hidden dev, was pretty much UDFA. Ivory was UDFA. Calvin Thomas, who has hidden dev, ridiculous speed, was UDFA. Probably the best position. I would say wide receiver, running back, maybe tight end. Like, those, you know, and those are, obviously, that's a lot of skill positions. And probably linebacker are like the 3 spots that you can usually get a lot of value. UDFA range. We got Wyatt Callan. Just had to pick him. 57. That is the shittiest draftable wide. He was day 3. Well, we had to get it with all the F's. Plus, the fact that we got this murderer's row, who's who of rookie wide receiver class. Let's also add the worst rookie wide receiver I've ever seen. And Aries Divine, 66. But fuck, I mean, I did a whole rebuild where literally I can only draft UDFA players. I don't think I've ever, well, I mean, this class is available to everybody. Here's your diamond. If you watch this video and you're using these draft classes, Rashad Ivory. There's your UDFA player. There's our next, like, Victor Cruz for the New York Giants. What a monster. But I'm very happy with this draft class. Very happy. We're going into year one with the New York Giants. A massive season for Daniel Jones. This is pretty much decided. Are you making the thumbnail of this video, boss, or not? And we went out and got him some weapons. We helped improve the offensive line. We got Isaiah Wynn at guard, Ethan Posich at center. Foster Moreau will be our new tight end, even though I definitely think that's still a spot that I would like to get more of an established safety net for what it's worth. Wide receiver row, we have Ivory, who we're going to obviously plug and play right away in the slot. Sladen and Humphrey are going to be two speedsters on the outside. We still have Wan'Dale Robinson, Thomas, and Kenny Galladay there. So plenty of depth at wide receiver. It'll likely still be the Saquon Barkley show on offense. Defensively, we got Zach Allen making his, I would love to play the rookie, but we can't just sign Zach Allen and not play him because he's a solid player. So I kind of feel like the middle ground here is, will Zach Allen start in base set, but for the specialist set, that is where York, the rookie, will be able to get on the field here this season and hopefully not lose his dev trait right away. Drake, our first round corner, is going to be outside corner two with Adoree Jackson. Darnay Holmes in the slot. We have McKinney, and I slide Burgess over to strong safety. He has the dev trait formerly of the Rams. Feel like go with that and see if he can hit the ground running versus, overpaying and trying to bring back Julian Love, who, kind of pissed me off by rebuffing our offer. Aziz Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau are going to be a primary pass rushers, with our free agency signings of Devin Bush and Cody Barton leading the middle of the defense. I think this team still probably a fringe playoff team, but more so here in year one, it is what can Daniel Jones show us? Is he the quarterback of the future? Can he go off here in this franchise rebuild, or is he just going to be mid and absolutely not worth $40 million and a long-term extension mid-season? Let's find out. Kind of happy to see this mid-season, not even mid-season, and Zach Allen, normal dev, has a chance to go up star dev if we can beat the Dallas Cowboys. Nice, we're able to beat Dallas to go to 2-2 on the season, but the dev trade scenario for Zach Allen pops. Let's go. Looks like a bargain now. Star dev for Mr. Zach Allen plus 10,000 XP. Honestly, let's keep it rolling here, as from that Cowboys victory, 35-29, we also have a breakout defensive back. It is going to be for Carlos Drake, our first round pick, who outside of the normal dev trade looks like an absolute monster. So we can hold the Saints to 200 yards passing, or Carlos Drake has himself a day. Our first round pick, which was slightly whelming, becomes just amazing. And he also still has the potential defensive rookie of the year nod, which would be a second increase. But let's see if he can. Oh my God, then we get another breakout. Holy shit. All right, does Drake get it? Okay, Carlos Drake. Okay, so we hit one, we missed one. We got a great opportunity. It's the Jets, it's the Battle of New York, and a breakout for Daniel Jones. That is really the first big thing. Win or lose this season, I almost think I would take a losing season to have a clear answer whether or not Daniel Jones, if that's going to be a thing that we can accomplish here today. Or, versus, not knowing, right? Making the playoffs, but Daniel Jones still kind of sucks. I would hate that. So it's the 0-5 Jets. They're looking for the first win of the year. It should be a win for the Giants, and hopefully good enough to get Daniel Jones up to a star dev. Unfortunately, we fucking barely show up, lose 13-10, and, it's ridiculous that we keep getting these dev trait scenarios. This is for Terrell Burgess at safety. We might as well just honestly keep here for the second to see if we can hit another one. I don't think we're going to get one for Daniel Jones. Maybe. But I think you needed 2 touchdowns, and it definitely fell on the back of Daniel Jones there. We only got 10 points against an 0-5 Jets team, but I've never actually seen a stretch of games where you get a straight-up dev trait every single game. We are on fire right now, and let's just see. Lastly, can we get an additional dev trait here? Superstar dev for Terrell Burgess, our first-year starting strong safety. We did lose to the Raiders. That does not mean it was a miss, but it ended up being a miss. So we went 1-3 for our dev trait scenarios here in year one, which kind of says all you need to know about this Giants team and how much work we still need to do to get to where we want to be. Year one free agents. Big question mark around the quarterback spot, and that is very much going to be a wait and see type deal. First off, I like Darnay Holmes. Maybe there's a little bit of just personal bias. I would love to see him really emerge as a slot corner for us. But considering that he doesn't want to be here, I'm not going to overpay for a 73. But I think Adoree Jackson, another spot, if he takes this deal, maybe we'll round it up here just a little bit. 3 years, 27 mil. I have no problem whatsoever with that for the next 3 seasons. He will likely still be our top corner. Xavier McKinney should be like a good priority here to re-sign. I'd hate to give a very player-friendly deal. We'll go 7.2 and 5. 4 years, $48 million. Brutal. Like, no one is table that high. I mean, he comes from the Bill Belichick, Nick Saban coaching tree, so maybe he's an absolute asshole to work with. Okay, we got Dex Lawrence at D-tackle. We'll pretty much pay him whatever he wants. He's going to be critical for what we're trying to build here. And we'll definitely come back to the table for Xavier McKinney. All right, Xavier McKinney is running a hard bargain here. 5 years, 62. There we go. Overpay. Absolute overpay. But sure, we'll keep him around. At the end of year one for the New York Giants, we go 10-7. We come second in the NFC East and make the playoffs. So, I mean, considering where we started as a low-tier playoff team, we're not worse, which is good for year one. We got a big week 18 victory of the Eagles, 28-20, where we had a player of the week, which was Adoree Jackson. 2 interceptions of Jalen. Look at Taysom Hill, man. God damn it. Fix the playbooks in this game. Anyways, carrying on. Yeah, we got the Packers in the first round. Let's see. Did Daniel... I just feel like I could tell if he was getting a bunch of player of the weeks. I don't think Daniel Jones is probably as far as he's going to go in this rebuild. He's a bridge quarterback, and that's pretty much what he is. 29 touchdowns, 10 picks. Not exactly what we're looking for. Saquon stole the show, 1,600 yards, 21 touchdowns. We got 1,100 yards, 3 tutties for Slayton. Ivory, 6 yards shy of 1,000. Wandale was solid. Moreau was solid. Humphrey with a ridiculous 22-yard. Well, I mean, that's actually not ridiculous, but he was a good deep threat. Got involved. I'm excited to see all of these guys' dev traits. Defensively, Devin Bush and Burgess both going over 100 tackles on the season. 8 sacks, Dex Lawrence, 17 TFLs. That's why we paid him whatever he wants. Sacks outside of that, though, incredibly disappointing, but that's just 3-4 in a Madden sim. That's not good at all, which sucks because that just means Ojulari and Thibodeau, their depth traits are never going to be great unless we find a way to, affect the pass. We might have to just change the defensive playbook because that's just brutal. I get, not being like, our offense sucks. Let's just give us the Bucs offensive playbook. That's ridiculous. But 3-4 defenses are so bad in this. It's almost like we got to find just what's the meta 3-4 so we can get any form of realistic performances from our defense because it's pretty bad. That's disgusting. Take a look here at the yearly awards. MVP goes to Josh Allen. In the NFC, we got Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Rashad Ivory. The UDFA, who was 77 with a hidden dev. He's the only guy that I know that's dev trade. It was a star, so that Offensive Rookie of the Year might bump him up to a superstar. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jonathan McDonald. We're kind of hoping our corner might have had a shot there, but he wasn't even close. And like every other corner made it there. J.D. Vick, who was the top target I wanted. Webster was another corner that was considered. Alrighty, and then for the individual awards, we have no one from the New York Giants outside of our kicker, Graham Gano. So it's a weird year for sure, but let's just see if we can get at least one playoff victory against the 9-8 Green Bay Packers. And we do, 35-27. What's on the back of Daniel Jones? You're going to give me something to think about as it relates to a contract extension, or was it Saquon? Daniel Jones played well. 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Saquon went off. Don't get it twisted. Slayton, 2 receiving touchdowns there. Our speedster Humphrey, a.k.a. mini baby Tyreek, also had a touchdown. The Giants get that playoff victory. So, same as what they did in real life. Get that one. Hopefully not a juggernaut in the second round. They run into the Carolina Panthers, who are, we're both 81 overall. We're not really overmatched. Let's see. They got Brian Burns, hell of a pass rusher. They don't have trouble getting after the quarterback. And we lose a close one, 38-35. I'm happy to see Dallas lose on the other side. But in this matchup, yeah, you got outplayed. We got outplayed by Teddy Bridgewater. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks for Daniel Jones. Not good enough. A Dak Prescott-esque performance. Saquon was solid. Ivory crushed it. Moreau was actually pretty solid this year. Got a couple sacks there. Got a pick for the rookie. Big moment for him. Hopefully that helps him carry the next season. But you can just see Daniel Jones is just not offering enough. I think the combination of Daniel Jones kind of being at his ceiling and more so, we have got to figure out, what is a remotely usable 3-4. 3-4 under. Who has the best? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Who puts up good sim numbers You know, the Patriots are probably decent. Pittsburgh, maybe? I'm just trying to think what 3-4 outside linebackers always have a shit ton of sacks. Because, like, it just doesn't happen, right? Maybe Tampa? Maybe LA? Maybe we'll go LA? Let's try that for now. Because, you know, you got Khalil Mack, Bosa. I assume they put up pretty decent numbers, right? Let's try out LA. Closing for year one, here is what our team looks like as it relates to dev traits. Ivory was star because he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He goes up to superstar. Humphrey, our speedster, is a star dev. We still don't have the dev for Thomas. He barely played, so we'll have to see that in the offseason. But no one went down a dev trait on the offensive side of the ball, which is pretty good. On the defensive side of the ball, however, ridiculous dev traits. Devin Bush goes from star up to superstar. Terrell Burgess goes from star up to superstar. We have Dex Lawrence going from star up to superstar. Adoree Jackson, star up to superstar. Darnay Holmes somehow, star up to superstar. We're going to have to figure out a way to re-sign him now. Insane. Last piece of business, let's get that superstar corner signed to a long-term deal. Darnay Holmes, he ain't going nowhere. Start our offseason, Thomas, who was our last hidden dev offensive player that we couldn't see. It is star. And while we are here, we are going to get Kenny Galladay's disgustingly bad contract off the books. Also going to free up a couple $1,000,000 here. Get rid of Glowinski. So we're going to try to spend some decent money here in free agency. Not the quarterback spot. I think we're going to go into the draft, the top quarter. And I don't know. Maybe there will be a rebuild that I want to. I just have zero interest right now doing like the cheesy Juster. He's there all the time for some reason. Thought they patched it. Like, what's the chance that the Chargers don't re-sign him? Like 0.01. So, I mean, you know, for the time, like, I don't know. Pass. Doesn't mean we're not going to be aggressive. So we got Chris Lindstrom on the offensive line. He'd be plug and play, day one upgrade. Dicker the kicker, why not? And we're going to put a competitive bid on Ed Oliver. Dabble coming over from the Buffalo Bills. I know Ed Oliver is a popular D-tackle. Don't want to use him in too many rebuilds, but it makes sense in this case because Daboll with the Bills connection, and he would be able to come in and be a Leonard Williams replacement right away. But there's a big-time bid there from the Tennessee Titans. It is not a given that he will pick us. But he did. He picked the good guys. I will take that for our big free agent side. Big gets on all three phases of the football. Here's why I don't want to just get Herbert right away. We got a couple top 5 quarterbacks. Hudson Weeks, Chip McKee out of Sam Houston, and Cap. Yes, another year where the top, like, is it that hard? Is it that hard in these generated classes? Just have somewhat realistic schools. You know, LSU top 5, sure. Florida top 5. New Mexico State, Sam Houston, and Louisiana Monroe. Like, I feel like it's not too much to ask to be like, hey, you know, look at these quarterbacks. You're telling me not one legitimate program had a good quarterback this year? You know, like, would it be that crazy to, like, you know, let's make that Ohio State, Alabama, you know? Even like niche school, like Northern Illinois, that kind of makes sense, right? That's where like Phillip Rivers and all those guys came. But I mean, UL Monroe. Either way, I digress. Some really good players. Hudson Week looks solid. I actually kind of hope he goes first overall because we're going to have to trade up. He does have elite throw power, which looks pretty damn good. I think the guy we want though is Chip McKee. A deep, A mid, A throw under pressure, elite throw power, elite strength. Not a dual threat. Not necessarily have to be a dual threat, but I think that's the guy we want, especially if he's not going to be the top option. Just, hey, guess what, guys? You want to see the scouting? Put the scouting hat on. He has one more A, you know? But we're going to be super aggressive trying to trade up here, but that's exactly what we're going to do. We might just have to trade up to first overall. I got no worries about that. Look at the final mock draft just to kind of get an idea maybe where we need to trade up for. First quarterback off the... I mean, yeah. So the good news... Seattle, not super interested in a quarterback. Like, usually mock draft 5 is generally the line that they fall. The bad news is Chip McKee, the quarterback that I want, is going higher than the top quarterback on the big board, which is Hudson Weeks. So I think we are going to have to try to trade up here with Seattle. Is going to be, what is our pick? We're going to be 24, 25, somewhere in that range. 27. Okay. Enough, Seattle's the team that signed Justin Herbert. So let's see what they want for pick 1-1. I can offer them. They don't want anything. Okay. So let's see if we can get it done. We'll offer you pick 1, 2, 1. Will that do the deal? All right. 2 first and a second. Probably should cost more. But that's literally the max I could offer them. And they took it. So there you go. And they get it a little bit more fair because I rarely ever trade up to the first overall pick. I'm also going to throw in our 3rd and our 2nd round pick. Our 3rd this year, our 2nd next year. So like all of our top draft picks, I'll just get the 7th rounder from them in return. Because I feel like a 1, 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 3 in a class where the top team does have no interest in getting a quarterback they're trying to trade down. Like that's at least a little bit more fair. You also just... The fact that we hit on a 77 UDFA wide receiver makes you feel a little confident that we don't need a bunch of premium picks into this Giants rebuild to find a lot of success. Plus, we have a lot of salary cap, so we do a lot of our damage in free agency. It is time to grab a quarterback. Both of them actually pulling a top 5 true talent, which this is a very good roll of the dice. But again, we'll just go with the guy that has one more A as far as his info. Both have elite throw power. Both not dual threats by any sense of the imagination. But also Chip McKee, way cooler name. So out of Sam Houston, who runs an air raid. Bailey Zappi came out of Sam Houston. 90, I mean, ace acceleration, not bad. Faster than expected, but that 99 perfect throw power. New franchise QB, Chip McKee. Have a pick to the 4th round, still hidden dev. We didn't have a lot of crazy picks, but we got a quarterback that I think I'm going to be pissed. Because like the last couple times, there's been 2 really good quarterbacks. I've got the wrong end of the stick. At least it relates to dev trait. Okay. Bad news. Rest of the draft, not great. Did get a hidden dev linebacker because he was the fastest linebacker available. And for our scheme, he's going to kick inside the middle linebacker, Jimmy Ford. Looks pretty fun, but holy shit. Sound the alarms. We have a chance at our first actual generational skill position player. On top of that, it's a quarterback. 84 overall, Chip McKee. All we knew that he had hidden dev and he had 99 throw power, which was awesome. I'm going to be so annoyed if he's a star dev. I'm going to be honest with you. 99 throw power, 86 deep, 84 mid, 82 short, 81 awareness. You know, pretty, underrated athlete, I would say. He's already coming in. AW draft a player, and as a rookie, they're the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. That's kind of what you want to look for, man. Pocket style quarterback. I mean, everything looks kind of decent. I'm going to be pissed. All I can say, and that's just the perfect summary of how I feel about these guys. That's how bad my luck has been drafting guys that we think are generational, like hot, 80 overall guys that just pop a star. It's like, I'm just assuming the worst. Should be optimistic. Should be like, this guy could be an X factor. Could be straight up generational. Here I am thinking, oh, he's just going to be probably a lame ass star dev. And hopefully we can win offensive rookie of the year to get him to go up dev. But you know what? Let's be optimistic. Hopefully this guy's a fucking alien. 84 hidden dev right out the gate. Dayball gets his Josh Allen here in New York. Let's go. So we'll do scouts on here because this is a lot of pressure. I'm not even going to go in weekly strategy, which spoils the dev trait. We're going to find it out together probably around week 5 or week 6. What our quarterback got under the hood. You do the Giants rebuild, and it's really all going to hinge on just what kind of quarterback are we dealing with, right? Rest of the offense, I mean, Chris Lindstrom coming in, 92 offensive line. That is going to definitely help bolster really what should be one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Ivory, a superstar. He's going to go right in the slot. And we're actually going to give Humphrey the opportunity, man. The mini Tyreek Hill, him and Slayton are going to be fine on the outside. I'd rather just Humphrey, if pulling up the depth chart, gives him a little bit more in the targets department because his ceiling's a little bit higher. We're bringing over Ed Oliver from Buffalo, player very familiar with Brian Daboll, in a different scheme. He's going to be playing on a front 3. Zach Allen, new superstar Dex Lawrence. We got 2 new superstar corners in Darnay Holmes and Adoree Jackson. And I mean, hell, even just for the second, Terrell Burgess is there at well. No real weakness on this defense. No real superstars on this defense. Even though Dex Lawrence is pulling a 96 rating, still not really a superstar. You know what? We'll give it to him. He's very good. Very, very good, and we're paying him like a superstar. But I'm optimistic we're going to get back in the playoffs. But really for this year, let's just see what this QB is really all about. We're the midway point of the season, and I'm excited for our quarterback. We're the number 2 offense in the NFL. He's had a 6 touchdown and a 4 touchdown week, and we're at week 7. He's got to have his dev trade unveiled. Don't be Silver. Don't be a star dev. And we don't know it yet. How many more snaps does this guy need? Okay, give us another game. We're sipping a game here against the Minnesota Vikings after the bye week. And we're just going to find out our dev trade. We unfortunately get our second loss of the season, 33-23. What is our quarterback? Come on. Come on, not Silver. And he is X Factor. There we go, baby. It's January. Well, we finally have a generational talent that is not a meme position in a rebuild. Awesome to see that. He comes in with Gambit. Is that guy? We're going to give him Dots. I know a lot of people say Dots is the best ability. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're doing heavy sim anyways. But Chip McKee, we got 4 years with a generational quarterback prospect here in New York. Of course, it's a Giants rebuild as an Eagle fan, but let's go, man. I don't care. This guy's a fucking alien. Let's go. It's Sam Houston. So now knowing we have a freak of nature quarterback, kind of, you know, I'm not going to say necessarily shifts the rebuild a little bit, but like as we view, you know, the guys around us, we know we got a window. We're not going to have to, you know, admit defeat with the quarterback position and have to save some additional salary cap. We're going to be operating on a rookie quarterback window. So I think that kind of gives us free reign here to sign whoever, whatever we want. So I think Zach Allen, because he's gone up dev trade, had a couple opportunities to go up to superstar, still could hit that. 2 years, kind of maxed out his prime. Azeez Ojulari, I think for like the role player that he is, you know, at least offer him 5 years, 47. He takes it. Hopefully these guys are thriving in this scheme. Terrell Burgess, our superstar safety, you know, you can't gamble that he's going to hold on to that dev trait for this whole rebuild, but we'll give him an opportunity. 4 years, still very affordable for a guy with a superstar ceiling, and we're still going to go into this offseason with probably over $60 million of cap to try to go spend and improve this squad. What a difference a generational quarterback can make. We go 13-4, get an NFC East title here in year 2 of this 5-year rebuild. Might not need to go a full 5 until we see some postseason success. Looking at McKee, ooh-lee, that's a good start. I mean, I thought maybe more touchdowns, but 5,100 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's already an X factor. So at this point, at minimum, the floor for him is don't lose your dev trade. That is not a lose dev trade type season, so I'm happy with that. Saquon Barkley feasted, 69 yards, 21 touchdowns, ridiculous. Rashad Ivory. Got to remember, guys, UDFA. He was a UDFA. 85 superstar, absolutely thriving in the slot. 101 catches, 1,500 yards, 10 tutties. We have 12-9 for the speedster. Carlos Humphreys, Slayton with a solid year. Moreau with a solid year. Defensively, over 100 tackles for Barton and Bush. We got 4. Finally, we're getting some pressure. Going to the Chargers defensive playbook seems to have worked, at least as far as pass rush. 14 TFLs, 14.5 sacks for Ed Oliver, 11 for Thibodeau, 10 for Dex Lawrence, 5 for Zach Allen. I'll take all those. Honestly, I'll take all those numbers. 3 picks for Carlos Drake, our first-round pick in year 1. Happy with that as well. Number 1 offense in the NFL. Yearly awards, Desmond Ridder wins the MVP. Chip McKee as a rookie coming in at number 3. Finally, we have one of these freaks, man. Feels good. Offensive rookie there goes to Chip McKee. We also have, that can't be our only award winner. Damn, it is. At least it's a quarterback. You're not going to be too critical. Now the pressure's on. Daniel Jones got us a playoff win. Can Chip McKee in the battle of freak quarterbacks? Desmond Ridder doing the damn thing for the Atlanta Falcons. Can Chip McKee get a playoff victory? Is Daniel Jones going to win that one? And 44-24. There is levels to this, Falcons. You have Ridder. He's fine. It's a scheme. Chip McKee, first playoff game, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 100 yards. Holy shit. 3 going to Darius Slayton. Why couldn't this be like the, you know, obviously it's not going to be an Eagles rebuild because we got Jalen Hurts now. But like, of course, it's an NFC East rebuild that we get like the first great quarterback. We, you know, much like Daniel Jones, though, we crash and burn. Niners kind of handle us there, 24-19, a great defense, but this is only the beginning. 3 more years of a generational quarterback. We're getting a Super Bowl before all is said and done. And in closing, even though the playoffs weren't exactly what we wanted, and the other team from New York has a Super Bowl generational quarterback, that's kind of like all you really need to know about this year. We are very much trending in the right direction. No other dev traits, up or down on the offense. Defensively, Dex Lawrence up to an X factor, which is awesome given the contract that we gave him. But we did lose double, triple hitter. Holmes, Jackson, and Burgess all lost their superstar devs. Terrible free agency spot. Literally no upgrades except punter. So we signed a punter. Just, hey, generational quarterback. All right? We got a generational quarterback. And while this year's a little light, we're going to be rolling over a lot of the salary cap into next year. We're going to have so much money once there's a free agency period worth jumping on. Like, just look at the top 100. Not one of these guys upgrades our team. You know? You know what? Actually, while we're here, while I'm talking, maybe wide receiver? Like, do you think bringing St. Brown in? Ah, fuck it. Let's just see. We'll go with a huge bid. If he wants to come, he'll come. If not, you know. All right. Went from just signing a punter to impulsively bringing in a game changer at wide receiver. All right, I need a center and a tight end. We don't have any pick until the 3rd round. Luckily, tight end. It was very weak center. I think there's only 3 draftable centers, but there did look to be a couple decent tight ends in this draft. Yeah. So the centers are gone, but what do we got at tight end? Oh, no. The tight ends got destroyed. Like, there was a couple tight ends I thought, they were going to be 70 plus for sure. Holy. All right. Elite strength tight end Evan Barker. Fuck. And you know what? We still pulled a 70 plus in a draft that we 100% punted on. Virgil Tate, hidden dev linebacker, best of the bunch. At least our draft's gonna go back to normal next year, and that's really the only year 5 drafts don't mean anything. But year 4 draft, you can usually get an impactful playmaker there. Year 3 for the New York Giants, and a late addition to get Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got Ivory. We're going to probably bump up Humphrey just because he's, higher ceiling, if you will. Saquon, McKee. Would have loved to grab a tight end. Would have loved to grab a center. With no first-round pick. We have a generational quarterback. That's why we don't have a complete team. But we have a quarterback that absolutely can get us where we want to go. Defensively, pretty much more the same. Expecting this unit to come back and be, a fringe top 10 unit. Get the sacks that we got last year. Absolutely is going to be a playoff team. I don't think from here on out, years 3, 4, and 5, we're not going to be right in the mix of it. Love it. We're undefeated. We're undefeated. Yet to lose. What do we got for contract? Actually, we will sim this battle, too, after this, because it's Battle of the Undefeateds. Looking at the offense, it is heavy offense for our set-to-be free agents. I honestly think every single one of these guys, let's let them in the open market, because those are players that I was already thinking about upgrading on. What a nice mid-season battle. 7-0 Giants, 6-0 Chargers. Don't make me look like an asshole and have this be our first loss. Let's get an impressive victory over another undefeated team, and hopefully we can go undefeated this year. And we put up 52 points. Saquon going off. 227 rush yards. 300 yards from scrimmage, 3 touchdowns, Saquon. What are we building here? We got up to 8-0, and we finished the year 11-6, which is not ideal. We did have a couple games late against the Cowboys. I think we had both our Cowboys in a Chiefs matchup, which are, they're always just count those as losses. But we're in the first round of the playoffs, and that is an NFC East title. So that is a win. Our quarterback playing very well. Might be MVP. 3rd in yards, 1st in touchdowns. God love him. Saquon went off. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Absurdity. 1,600 yards on 109 catches. 23 touchdowns. Where does that put him all time? 1,000 for Humphrey. Unfortunately, Ivory, definitely didn't benefit from the late addition. A couple 100-yard tacklers. Sacks are exactly what we needed. Moving to the Chargers playbook. Haven't had great interception numbers. Where does that put St. Brown? Oh, he died it. Brandon Aiyuk. Oh my God, look at these other guys with a sim. Jacoby Myers, Aya, Cooper Kupp, St. Brown ties the record with Randy Moss. That was the year he was on the Patriots. Don't be one and done. Beat Dallas. I'll tell you right now, if we lose to Dallas here, I'm force winning. Okay, we did. Never mind. I won't even go that route. Something I always consider. If I'm ever doing a rebuild in the NFC East or the AFC West, usually if things get greasy, we'll just force wins against the playbook teams, just so that we're not an automatic 0-2 every year. Don't even need to entertain that thought here. 35-9, kick the shit out of them, and rightfully so. They're the 7th seed. They barely hobbled into the playoffs. Jim McKee played a clean game. Dak Prescott does what Dak Prescott does best: throw a lot of turnovers in the playoffs. And we're moving on, and we get a revenge game. The Niners bounced us last year. Let's see if we can learn from that. They're a good team, though. 87 overall, 89 overall. And the Niners have bounced us back-to-back years, even though there was an excellent performance here. McKee did his thing. 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. We just don't know how to stop Trey Lance and the Niners. And as the fellas cleared their lockers, the Texans defeated the 49ers in the Super Bowl 2017 low-scoring matchup. And we look to be better next year as it relates for our dev traits. No one went up or down a dev trait on the offense, so that is a win as far as I'm concerned. And on the defensive side, Darnay Holmes lost. At one point was a superstar, has regressed all the way down to a normal. No other devs were affected, I don't think. Yet again, another just truly remarkable, terrible free agency spot. Like middle linebacker, best guy that we're looking to upgrade, he was our own guy. Tight end, best guy looking to upgrade, our own guy. So, maybe it's going to be like a year 5 Super Bowl or bust where we spend like $1 trillion. Because, again, not doing it for me. So going to the draft, finally have some top-tier draft capital. Positions in need, center and tight end are the 2 that I'm hoping for. And there was 2 tight ends, 2 centers that I was looking for at tight end. All right, the top one is gone. I really do like the look of Bruce Raymond down here, day 3, A's and 2 B's. Donnell Harris could also be solid, but at center, we're looking for Beckham. Yes, 3 A's and a B. Wonder if he's going to be good, fellas. 3 A's and a B with, honestly, the combine's not the best, but the bench press is strong. Usually bench press is not an indicator that is a good center, but easy pick. 3 A's. How did I know he was going to be good? He was only almost amazing. And kind of have a walk-off draft here. Let's just grab our tight end, and we'll probably just sim the rest of this draft out. Should be able to get Raymond. I mean, Harris still is here. I don't know if really if it's that close. You have A, catch of traffic, B, catching, A, run block. Doesn't have the elite strength. Does, combine's pretty good. Second fastest tight end. I do like that elite agility for Harris. But much like the center, like we just take what we kind of can see here. And Bruce Raymond, A, catch of traffic, B, deep route running, B, run block, comes in, combine. He's the fastest tight end. He's just a little bit more athletic. That pro day is pretty ridiculous for a tight end. So let's grab Raymond. No dev trait. That's surprising. Take a look at the draft recap. I mean, I can't take full credit here. We got Zach Harbor. This was CPU pick. 70 normal dev wide receiver. We got us a 75 running back in the 4th round. James Lehman, normal dev, but that is a very good player. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Quincy Fitzgerald, 72 hidden dev. He's going to be a D-end in our scheme. Probably will never see the field, but that's still a great pick there. But it wasn't me. I did get Bruce Raymond, 74 with the normal dev. Was this point there's no dev trait, but honestly, not too much of a regression from what we had starting there before in Foster Moreau. So he's likely going to be our day 1 starter at tight end. And Josh Beckham at center. Look like a hell of a center prospect. 75 with the hidden dev. He is going to be a day 1 starter as well. Not a lot of changes. Going to be very quick. Year 4 for the Giants. We got a brand new starting center. We got a... I mean, I don't know. What else do we got? What else can I show you? We got a brand new center. And I guess we'll go Raymond at tight end. That is the changes. It's all about McKee. 4-2, midway point of the season. It is time for what's going to be a very expensive free agency period, but one I think we can navigate fairly easy. I mean, this guy's one of the success stories. Obviously going to be overshadowed because we have a goddamn generational quarterback, but I can't. I gotta keep him there. He's Allen says good. We got old Kayvon Thibodeau. This is not gonna be cheap, but we'll get Thibodeau locked in. I feel like you're doing a Giants rebuild. You kind of want Thibodeau. You kind of want Evan Neal sticking around, especially with how much money we have and how little we've had to actually spend to this point. Adoree Jack, even if he'll take this, he's probably going to be one of the better corners on the open market anyways, even with whatever regression he gets hit with. Isaiah Wynn on the offensive line. We'll see if we offer maybe a 2-year deal. If he signs in, he does. I mean, it's not hard to buy in. We're a very good team. Shouldn't have to be twisting anybody's arm to stick around here. We'll get Devin Bush, offer him a 3-year deal, get him locked in, not really worried about any regression. And I mean, honestly, I like to keep Humphrey, the speedster. I'll offer him a deal, and yeah, we'll kind of eliminates any wiggle room we have to make a year 5 signing. But our team's good enough to win a Super Bowl. We don't really need a whole lot to move the needle. Into year 4 for the Giants, first round bye, another NFC East title, the #1 passing offense, and almost top 10 defense. So the balance is there to the squad. Chip McKee first in yards, only 8th in touchdowns, 39 tutties. Again, it's only to maintain. His only job is don't lose your X factor, and he's done exactly that. Saquon, 26 touchdowns. I haven't seen a number that high since like LT with the Chargers. Saquon's been a god. 1,500 yards for St. Brown, 13 for Ivory, 1,000 for Humphrey, who I'm going to have to offer him a contract right before. Like, he's going to be pretty much the only guy we sign in the offseason, or at least re-sign. 700 yards, 10 touchdowns for a rookie, Bruce Raymond. Love seeing him put up those kind of numbers. Defensively, over 100 tackles for Devin Bush. The sacks, 15 Thibodeau, 11 for Zach Allen, 8 for Ed Oliver, 7.5 for Dex Lawrence. Interceptions are, modest. They haven't been crazy at any point in this rebuild. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Josh Allen. I mean, at this point, honestly, I want to see McKee win an MVP. He only has 1 more year left, but it'd be cool for him to get an MVP. NFC Offensive Player goes to Saquon Barkley. We got Saquon probably get a running back of the year. Kayvon Thibodeau, linebacker of the year. That could be good for him. We just gave him a contract extension. He's been stuck on that star dev. That could probably be enough to see his dev trade go up to a superstar. A Dicker, the kicker of the year. That could be superstar dev for him as well. So very happy we have the first round bye, but we are starting to get close. It's year 4. We got 2 years left to try to win a Super Bowl. And, if we just get, another like ho-hum, we are 5 overall points better. We find a way to lose to Atlanta. A lot of pressure for this team, which is exactly what just fucking happened. Come on, man. Brutal. The end of year 4, the Bills beat the Bucks in the Super Bowl, but more so looking at my squad. I want to see some devs. I want to see no one lose a single damn thing on offense, which is exactly what happened. Everyone runs it back. Hell, even Raymond went up dev trade. He was normal dev. He popped with a star. Beckham was hidden dev. He popped with a star. No other dev trades up or down. Literally, the only thing I got to do is re-sign Humphrey. Defensively, though, I want to see superstar for Thibodeau, which he got for linebacker of the year. Unfortunately, we did lose the dev trade for Dex Lawrence's X factor. He's still fairly solid. We're going to lose Allen to free agency, but it's going to be York that's going to step up in that place and be a starter there at defensive end. Maybe in a perfect... I mean, we'll just hopefully grab like a nice first-round corner to throw into the mix here. But even then, man, our team we're complete. We got to put it all together year 5. We're able to sign Humphrey, and we got that little influx at the end of the season cap. We had 29 mil. That could be enough. Go grab a corner potentially if there's one on the market. Come on, baby. You know you wanna. All right, literally, I'm trying to make the last pick. 10 seconds left. I'm going with the top corner. Corner's the only spot we could look. All C, 6'3". Didn't go to the combine. Maybe he's a free... he sucks. He sucks. Actually doesn't end up being too bad. 72. We're like literally all C's across the board. We had a nice looking safety in the second round. CJ Woodley out of Florida, 75 with a hit. There was a bunch of really nice looking safeties. Could have went a lot of directions. The rest of the, no one's really going to... Year 5 draft. It is what it is. You just try to run the score up and look pretty good. And I'll take 4 70s overall in a rebuild that we've drafted incredibly well in. Year 5. This is it. We've built a God team. We've drafted the best player we have drafted in any rebuild in Madden 23. Chip McKee out of Sam Houston. X Factor came out. 99. throw power right away. 95 accuracy, 95 mid. Short accuracy actually still kind of sucks. He's not really athletic, but he's not really Josh Allen. You want to make the comparison to Josh Allen, Brian Dable, 99 throw, but he's not really Josh Allen. This guy, I don't even know who you could say, like Stafford. It's like a Matt Stafford or we'll go with Matt Stafford. He's a Matt Stafford regen. But we got Saquon, St. Brown, we got Mini Tyreek, Ivory, UDFA grade player that we drafted because he was very good and very obviously a good player from the combine. I say make him a team captain. Let's reward him for the grind. He's been outstanding. Rashad, like it's one of those things. Rashad Ivory, if it wasn't for the quarterback, would go down as like one of our better picks ever in a rebuild. O-line is outstanding. Defensively, it's very good. Not the most elite defense that we've had, but still a good defense. Yeah, I'm not overly worried, man. I'm not overly worried. I'm not overly concerned. We could probably kick Fitzgerald here to right end if we're overly worried that Lawson came. Yeah, we'll put him there. We'll put him there just to make sure. But I don't think there's really a glaring weakness on this team. This is a very strong team. This is a team that's like almost as strong as like doing like a pink slips rebuild team. You know what I'm saying? So let's see it, man. I mean, and again, you look like maybe the secondary's a little weak, but our defense has been very good, and we haven't thrived on a lot of turnovers. So we don't need proven ball hawks. But in case, you know, you can't just discredit a player because they're not a superstar or they're not an X-Factor. We got Jair Alexander to get this secondary over the hump. 96 playmaker on the outside. I want 15 wins. I want a Super Bowl. And our final year goes about as good as you can ask. I wanted 15 wins. We got 13-4. I believe that's our third NFC East title. We have the number 7 offense, the number 1 defense in the NFL. 97 overall offense, 93 defense, 93 overall. That's this ridiculous super team that we have here in New York. Chip McKee, a little bit off the mark for yards, but 44 touchdowns. He has been incredible. Saquon's been, even with the extra quarterback, Saquon's been our best player in this rebuild. Amon-Ra St. Brown, excellent. Ivory, 12 touchdowns, 11 for Raymond. On the defensive side, over 100 tackles for Devin Bush. And that switch to the Chargers playbook might have saved this rebuild, man. You know, when in doubt, you know, and that's not an OP playbook. I was literally just trying to think, like, what 3-4 defense might get after the quarterback a little bit. It's like, well, they got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and they tend to do good in Madden, so that must work. So very happy with that. Look at the yearly awards just very quickly, see if we have anyone. It was a goal to win MVP with our quarterback. Unfortunately, I guess there's just some freaking juggernauts left, right, and center that are existing right now, so it's been pretty difficult. Kayvon Thibodeau gets linebacker of the year, which means if we can make the Super Bowl, he will likely be a superstar X Factor, which is nice. Let's sim and figure out who we're going to be taking on in the divisional round. And then because I just want to get on a run here, let's look at our season stats, career stats, and see kind of where everyone is at throughout this rebuild. Who's really accomplished what? Where's Saquon at? Because he's been absolutely crushing it. So Chip McKee in 3 years, Hall of Fame pace, 20,000 passing yards, 164 touchdowns and 45 picks. What is that going to look like when he's in year 10 of the league? It's going to, unreal pace. Saquon's at 12,500 rushing yards and 130 rushing touchdowns. Outstanding. I mean, St. Brown obviously did that without us, but Ivory from a UDFA grade player to 5,700 yards, 42 touchdowns. Very happy with that. Humphrey was solid for us as well. The defense, we got, Dory Jackson. I mean, he did a lot of that here, but I mean, Dex Lawrence, I guess. 80 TFLs, 56 sacks. Pretty cool. We have 65.5 sacks at over, and I think he did most of that with us. Kayvon Thibodeau on 57.5 sacks. We got 12 picks, Xavier McKay. I mean, that was probably the only disappointment. We never really had like a corner emerge. Carlos Drake was our first round pick. He only finished after 5 years with 8 interceptions, or 4 seasons, 8 interceptions. Solid, I guess. But now it is time to go through the playoffs. We'll get front row seats for this whole way as we start off in the divisional round against our bitter rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, where this all started. This all started with the Giants losing to the Eagles in the divisional round. We start with the touchdown early, and I think this is going to be a good sim team. I don't think we're going to fool around. I don't think we're going to be careless. I think this is going to be a team that, like, honestly, I don't know if I'm going to have to hop in and play at any moment. I need to, because I'm going to have to grab a picture of McKee for a thumbnail, but they're making me eat my words. See, look, I got a little worried there for a second. My team goes down and scores another touchdown. We're at 35 points. That should be enough to get this one over the edge, especially considering, as we go through this whole thing, guys, we have the #1 defense in the NFL. No other defense was better than us. I'm a little ticked off that we even gave up 31 points here, but Jalen Hurts is an absolute dog. Well, look at that. Chip McKee, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 184 yards on the ground for Saquon Barkley, $140 for St. Brown, as the Giants are moving to the NFC Championship. And the only thing standing between us and a Super Bowl is the 8-9 Green Bay Packers. Just hopped in, grabbed the thumbnail here. We are going to play the key moments here against the Green Bay Packers. And opening drive, the Giants get 7 on the... Again, this is, you know, superstar X-Factor quarterbacks don't tend to suck in the play of the moments. Like, I don't know if that's the magical solution to any time you get, like, really bad. Like, you have one of those teams just, no matter what you do, they never win in play of the moments. Hey, just go get yourself an X-Factor 99 quarterback. I'm sure they will be able to move the football at a somewhat reasonable level. But what I'm more impressed about right now is the fact that our #1 defense is playing like the #1 defense. Gave up 30 points to the Eagles, which is disappointing, but absolutely dominating the Green Bay Packers, only giving them 7 points as our quarterback goes for almost 400 yards. Look at our receivers. 100 yards for Saquon, 10 for 111 for St. Brown, 10 for 193 for Rashad Ivory. Who is stopping this team? I'm going to guess the Chiefs, maybe? Called it. All right, let's see. How did I know? How did I know Kansas City? Like, just, I didn't even know if they made the freaking playoffs. Sometimes they don't. I was like, all right, it's going to be Kansas City. So one generational X-Factor quarterback against another. Patrick Mahomes against old Chipper. And the first points go to the Giants with a field goal, but Kansas City gets the first touchdown of the game. Looks like they're getting back-to-back scores there. #1 defense, no answer for Patrick Mahomes. We get a touchdown to pull it back, but Kansas City has got 3 touchdowns on 4 drives in the first half. We keep it close. We get the lead early in the second half. This is an absolute shootout. Kansas City kicks a field goal to tie it at 24, and we're going to the fourth quarter with everything to play for. A very long drive here for the New York Giants. They get the touchdown to go up 31-24. Kansas City scores almost immediately. We go right down the field, and we get the touchdown. I know sometimes... Oh, of course they would. Those sons of bitches. Pardon my language. My kid's out there right now. All right, let's go for it. I got to go full screen. Give me one shot. Give me a lead. If they get that one instant, Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown type play. Give me one shot to, where's Humphrey? Got to be Humphrey. 99 speed. He's our Tyreek. Don't get him, but B kind of has his man beat here. It's Harbor. Who is this? Yes! Yes! I don't even know who that is. Zach Harbor having his David Tyree moment of, like, bottom of the depth chart. He had one shot on the Chiefs' best corner, L'Jarius Sneed, and speed kills, I guess. Couldn't keep up with him. They have a chance. #1 defense in the NFL. Yes! 45-38. Forgot the new well, I didn't forget. I was anticipating the new overtime rules. But the greatest quarterback in channel history for Madden 23, Chip McKee. Sucks that it's on the Giants as an Eagle fan. But you know what? Did this video because Philly beat up on the Giants. I felt a little bad for the Giants. Was like, you know what? Let's get you guys another Super Bowl. And it's exactly what we were able to do. Maybe a little bit longer than expected. That's what she said. You know, thought maybe year 4 we could have been here. But when all is said and done, being able to get it over the line is all that matters. Having a rebuild go down as a successful one, especially in a rebuild where you could find a drafted player just like what we were able to do there. So I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, the first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what team you want to see next for a Madden 23 rebuild, be it a regular rebuild like this, or a realistic rebuild, or a Legends rebuild, or a Pink Slips rebuild. We got a lot of stuff that we could potentially explore here, so let me know in the comment section below if there is something specific you guys want to see That'll do for me here today, though. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.